All right, it is Friday. I hope everyone had a great week, and I hope everyone is finishing out their year strong. Today we're talking about gearing up for season, the last part of it, and that's injury care. Probably, at least near and dear to my heart, the most important part. But we want to try and prevent injury, or at least care for it appropriately when it does happen. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we need to do specifically for season, and then from going here on out. Quick, if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and just comment replay below. If you're watching live, give me a shout out. I'd love to know you're here. And if you know someone that needs to hear about this, make sure you tag them in the comments below as well. And let's get started. So today is all about injury care. So who is on your team? We've got athletic trainers, physical therapists, strength and conditioning coaches, orthopedic doctors, chiropractors, registered dietitians, mental health practitioners, and I've probably missed one. And what I want you to do is I want you to comment below about which one that I missed. So I'm sure I missed something. Let me know which one I missed below, who's an important part of the team, or someone that your gymnast could use, or your team could use that I wasn't included on my list. Now, anyway, back to this. So, what about for the normal gyms that can't even come close to this kind of staff? I don't know about you, but I know gyms that I visit or have grown up in or coached at could afford to hire someone in every single one of these disciplines. Maybe your gym is different, and for that I commend you, but for the most part, that's not the case when we're talking about who's on your team. Now, there's a couple of different ways. Now, the biggest problem that I have, and I'll switch back over to me here, but the biggest problem that I have right now is that coaches seem to be just getting dumped on and piled on for more and more responsibility. And I don't know about you guys, but it seems that way. Coaches, give me a shout out if it seems that way to you guys as well. But it seems like just more and more often that coaches are getting dumped on, and hey, you need to be able to be a strength and conditioning coach. You need to know how to tape ankles. You need to know how to be a physical therapist. You need to know how to develop your own training programs, all of these things. And maybe some of that is true, but also I think that a lot of it is getting kind of overblown, and coaches are asked to wear way too many hats. And so for that, maybe ways that we can kind of come close to creating this kind of team where we have the athletic trainers and physical therapists and all that, maybe some of it we need to get training in as coaches. So maybe some of it we go, all right, I know that I can tape an ankle. All right, I'll figure out how to do that. I don't need to hire an athletic trainer. I can get some training and I can tape an ankle. Maybe you really enjoy doing strength and conditioning programming. That is your thing, your deal. So you're going to do that. You're going to tackle that for the team. That's great. But maybe it's not. So getting training may not be feasible for you with all the responsibilities that you have as a coach already. So if that's the case, then what we need to do is we need to do one of two things. Number one, we either need to bring people in, or you might be surprised at how many people, how many moms and dads and things on the team already have some experience in these areas. And if that's the case, go ahead and bring them in and help them, and let them help you with your gymnasts. You know, even if it's a physical therapist that comes in once a week to say, hey, how's everybody doing? Is there anything I need to check out and get and take a look at? That's great. But let's make sure that we bring people in who need to be a part of our team. And let's create relationships as well. Let's create relationships in the general public. So we know that there's a physical therapy clinic that's 2 blocks away. Let's make sure that you create relationships with that clinic if it's a good clinic to have a relationship with. The biggest complaint that I get from coaches and athletes and parents is that healthcare providers don't know anything about gymnastics. And so they get released to do glide swings on bars, but they say, hey, just go ahead and do everything you want to on vault, because they just don't have any idea what gymnastics entails. So that's the biggest complaint that I see with healthcare providers working in the gymnastics arena. And so for that, make sure that you create relationships and you teach them something about gymnastics. If you really want a physical therapist that can help you with your team, then let's make sure that you bring in a physical therapist. They get to see practice, they get to see what's going on, they get to look at your strength and conditioning program, and get somebody that's highly motivated. A lot of times private practitioners, people that own their own business, they're going to be a little bit more motivated to learn what you'd have to share with them versus someone that works for just the giant corporate office of some X, Y, and Z physical therapy, right? So that may not, that may be a better way to do things. It may not be. It just depends on what area you're in. But make sure that you create relationships and you build a team around you, so that you can take care of injuries when they happen, and hopefully even prevent some injury or program well enough to where you don't have injury. So let's get training, maybe for coaches. Maybe let's get training, or let's bring people in. Let's have physical therapists and athletic trainers that come in periodically. Let's have strength and conditioning coaches that help you with your planning and your programming. But also make sure that you develop those relationships where they know something about gymnastics, because that's a huge complaint. Lastly, I want you to make sure that second to last, I want you to know your weaknesses, coaches. If you don't enjoy doing strength and conditioning programming and you're not good at it, then don't feel like you have to do that all the time. Don't feel like you have to develop all the strength and conditioning for all the teams, because that may not be your thing, and that's okay. So know your weaknesses. And then the last thing is 14 days. It's underlined, it's bolded, it's got 3 exclamation points behind it. What on earth does that mean? 14 days is when I want you to see a physical therapist. So if you have an injury or your gymnast has an injury, and so this doesn't just go for gymnasts, this also goes for you parents and you coaches. If you have injuries as well, get it taken care of, get it checked out. Start physical therapy before the 14-day mark. The reason why is because research has shown that if you can get in to see a PT within 14 days, you get better faster and you get better more completely. So you get back to 100% faster, and you actually get back to 100% more often whenever you see a physical therapist within 14 days. Now, if it's day 5 and you are 95% better, you don't necessarily have to go rush off to a physical therapist, right? But if it's day 7 and you're like, well, I might be a little bit better, I don't know, maybe I'm 10, 20% better, just go see somebody. Get it taken care of now rather than later, so that way you just don't have to worry about it. You can get better much, much faster. And then last thing here, you guys know, if you've seen my posts before, that I am licensed in a bunch of states for physical therapy. So if you need a physical therapist that knows something about gymnastics, don't make excuses. Contact me. At least I can get you maybe in contact with somebody in your area. If not, maybe I can help you through telehealth. That's been working pretty well. All right, so that is it today. You guys see my nice decoration for Christmas here. I stole the Christmas tree from inside. My wife's going to kill me. I do have to take it back, but I thought I'd share just a little Christmas cheer with you guys today before my wife kills me, and I have to return it. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you watch this on the replay, comment replay. Let me know what questions you have about injury care, and if there's any injuries that you have questions about, please let me know. All right, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.